Hi guys, welcome to Airam's Vegan Vida. So today I'm going to be making a very simple recipe. It's going to be Mexican street corn. So elote but vegan. This is one of my favorite childhood treats, I guess I would treat myself to when I was young, and I would go to flea markets, or the elote man would be roaming around the streets. I loved to get it. I never personally made it at home until I went vegan. I have been to pop-ups and stuff that offer elote, but I mean, it's just better to make it at home. Plus, it's really easy. So I'm gonna be showing you guys how I do that. So to start off with this quick little recipe, I'm gonna be taking some corn and showing you guys how I peel it. I technically did not need to film this because it's pretty self-explanatory, but here I am showing you guys. I decided to only do 2 corns on this day because I will probably be the only one consuming this, as I live by myself and my boyfriend actually hates corn. So I took off the outer husk and then decided to start taking off those little hairs. A little hack that I do is take a paper towel, or you can use a kitchen towel, and that really helps with removing all those little hairs because you don't really want to be biting into that corn and be chewing on some hairs. You know what I mean? So just keep taking those off as best as you can. So for this next part, I totally forgot to film it, but I ended up cutting off those ends so it could be easier to work with. Okay, so now moving on to the cooking process. I put these in a pot filled with water for 10 to 15 minutes because I'm cooking this inside. If I were doing this outdoor, of course I would probably decide to just grill this. But this is a faster cooking method in my opinion, so I put these in here for 10 to 15 minutes. Of course, this will definitely vary depending on how much corn you are using. So for this next part, I decided to throw it onto a cast iron grill to simply add some color and some grill marks. That is literally the only reason. I add some smokiness and a little bit of texture because I'm gonna be burning it a little bit to give it a more of a grill vibe, but also speeding up the process by previously having put it into the boiling water. Now moving on to the main ingredient, the vegan cheese. This is going to be cashew based. I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of raw cashews. Make sure no cashews escape like mine did right now. The next ingredient is the key ingredient to this recipe. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. You can adjust this to your liking by adding only 1 tablespoon, 2 or 3 like me, depending on how cheesy you want it. The next ingredient and the final ingredient will be salt. I'm adding this salt to taste, so this will definitely be up to you. You can add different seasonings like garlic salt, pepper, but since I am going to be making more of a plain type of cheese, like more Parmesan vibes, cotija cheese vibes, I decided to just use salt. So I'm pureeing this for 30 seconds, just keeping an eye on it that it doesn't get too fine. You kind of want it to be a little chunky, more so to resemble Parmesan cheese. At this point, I realized that it wasn't salty enough, so I added a couple more shakes of pink salt. And there you have it. So for this next part, I'm showing you how I'm going to be storing this Parmesan cheese. I'm using an empty spice container that is no longer in use, and I want to reuse it. So I filled it up all the way to the top, put a lid on it, and it can last in your fridge for up to 2 to 3 weeks. It's great for pastas, it's great for salads, and you can definitely just store this in a mason jar. I just decided to be extra so it could sprinkle a little bit better. And there you have it. And of course, don't forget to put your name on it like I did. Just pretend the other label doesn't exist. Okay, so now I'm gonna assemble the corn. So traditionally, when you go to the elote man, they usually have wooden skewers through it. I don't have wooden skewers and I'm not gonna go buy some. So I'm using some wooden chopsticks that I have at home, trying to shove these in as far as I could, realizing I was a little too weak. So I called in my boyfriend, and there he is, shoving him in further for me. Thank you, Ryan, for helping. It ended up working out amazingly though. I didn't even need the skewers. Chopsticks worked perfectly fine. So quick little hack, if you don't have skewers, use chopsticks. So now I'm going to be adding the vegan mayo. I'm using a brush to spread this around so I could coat it thoroughly. I like to use a follow your heart vegan mayo because I feel like it's more accessible. I see it at almost every grocery store that I go to. It's at Walmart, it's at Target, it's at Vons, it's at Sprouts, it's everywhere. So this is the one that's always super accessible to me, but whatever's accessible to you, I recommend you use that, of course. I like to get the reduced fat Vegenaise or Vegenaise. I don't know how to pronounce it, honestly. So there you have it. I coated the entire corn, and that's how you want it. So using that same vegan cheese we made earlier, I'm going to be sprinkling this on top. Then I realized this would probably take ages if I sprinkled it like that. So I just decided to pour what was left over onto the cutting board. So I'm rolling it because I remember seeing this back when I would go to flea markets and see them prepare the corn. They would just lay out layers of cheese like this and like tap it on. And that for some reason came to my mind, and that's what I realized would speed it up. Next step is definitely optional, but for some spice, I will be adding Tajin. It adds a little lemony, tangy vibe to it, so I do recommend it. You can also use chili powder, but I have seen Elote man use Tajin before, so that's the reason why I chose this today. So there you have it, quick and easy vegan elote made at home. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Super easy, super accessible, and definitely a great idea for a party or a barbecue. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye!